Good evening and welcome back. If you are listening from a quiet corner of the world, perhaps beside a softly fading hearth, or within the deep stillness of a bedroom, please allow my voice to be a gentle guide tonight. We will not rush this journey. There is no urgency in the story we are about to share. Find your most restful position, allow your shoulders to soften, and your breath to gently deepen. Let the sounds outside the distant world, the worries of the day, all of it become a soft, low hum far away. Tonight, there is nothing for you to solve, nothing to resist. We are drifting back through time, sinking into the vast, slow, unhurried life of the Alps, where time is measured not in hours, but in the gentle folding of the earth itself. My voice will be your soft anchor tonight, guiding you along the smooth, ancient rivers of time, where only the memory of permanent stillness remains. Nothing in tonight's story will disturb your peace. Welcome this evening's stillness, this gentle moment where the day gives way to the deep, slow quiet of the night. Feel the gentle weight of the air around you, soft and unmoving like silk draped across the horizon. With a long, soft breath, allow the rhythm of the evening to settle into the rhythm of your body. Let your breath become as quiet as the falling dusk, slow and deep, filling you with calm and releasing any lingering tension with the faintest whisper of air. Imagine yourself standing in a high meadow, bathed in mist plus moonlight. Before you, a faint straight line disappears into the distance, an ancient myth-like cadence of intention. We are about to begin the deep history of the mountain, tracing the origin of enduring colossal calm. If these gentle journeys help you rest, you may leave a soft like or subscribe, only if it feels comforting and natural for your night. The grand, quiet presence of the Alps does not begin with the height of their peaks, but with their ancient roots, a geological process so vast and unhurried that it measures time in epochs. The mountains were created not by sudden violence, but by a continuous gentle pressure, an act of collision as a slow push spanning millions upon millions of years. Imagine the Earth's crust far beneath your feet, moving with the speed of a growing fingernail. The African continental plate moving north met the European plate. This meeting was not a harsh crash, but a continuous soft wind of geological force, pressing the immense layers of sedimentary rock together. As the pressure built over vast periods of distant night and day, the rock layers did not shatter. They folded. The soft limestones and harder granites buckled and arched, rising gently toward the sky. This process of folding, known as orogeny, is the ultimate expression of patient stability. The immense weight of the continents was transformed into a slow, steady ascent, creating the deep, organized ridges and troughs that define the Alpine landscape. The visible peaks of today are the final majestic result of this profound, low-drama compression. They represent millions of years of organized effort by the Earth itself, showing that the greatest forms are achieved through continuous, unhurried pressure. The feeling of the Alps is one of unwavering order, rooted in the sheer depth of their history. The very stone of the Alps, the quiet stone of the high peaks, holds the memory of this ancient movement. When you place your hand on a sun-warmed granite face, you are touching material that was once sediment on an ancient seafloor, now lifted to the sky by the geological slow tides. The crystals within the rock tell a story of immense heat and pressure, all transformed into a state of calm equilibrium. This origin story establishes the rhythm of the Alpine life, a pace defined by the geological clock. Everything within the mountains moves slowly. The water, the shadows, the erosion. The mountains teach the traveler and the communities nestled in their valleys the necessity of patient precision and the virtue of unhurried movement. The ancient roots of the fold provide the ultimate sense of security. The mountains have endured pressures that stagger the imagination, yet they remain strong and still. Their creation was a continuous, quiet affirmation of stability, assuring the world that the stable earth can contain and transform even the greatest forces into a lasting, serene visual. If the ancient roots of the Alps were formed by the slow push of continents, their final majestic shape was sculpted by an even gentler yet more persistent force: the quiet labor of the ice. Glaciers, vast fields of compressed snow and ice, moved through the mountain valleys like slow rivers, patiently refining the colossal forms. Imagine the high Alps during the great epochs of cold when the mountains were draped in thick white blankets of ice. This ice was not brittle or aggressive. It was a massive fluid presence obeying the quiet, unyielding law of gravity. It moved with an almost imperceptible slow pace, flowing downhill at the speed of a contemplative thought. The glaciers acted as immense natural carving tools. As they flowed, they incorporated the quiet stone, the dislodged granite and schist into their lower mass. This rock-studded ice then moved across the valley floor and against the mountain walls, grinding the surfaces with continuous low-drama friction. The sound of this process was muted and deep, a continuous, vast, soft whisper of stone against stone, occurring beneath tons of insulating ice. The effect of this quiet labor was profound. The V-shaped river valleys formed by the faster flow of water were patiently widened and smoothed into U-shapes by the broad, steady pressure of the ice. The sharp, jagged peaks were rounded and softened, their edges refined into the serene, colossal contours we know today. The mountains were being sculpted by unhurried precision. Look closely at the surfaces of the high granite. You can sometimes see the faint striations, the parallel scratch marks left by the tiny rocks dragged by the glacier. These marks are the enduring signature of the ice's rhythmic consistency, a record of its long, slow passage across the rock. They tell a story of time measured not in seasons, but in the immense continuous glide of the ice mass. As the glacier moved, it collected the pulverized rock, the ancient dust, creating a fine, pale silt. When the ice finally melted and retreated, this silt was deposited, forming the fertile, sheltered beds of the high valleys. The ice was destructive only in the context of deep time. In the moment, its effect was one of calm organization, transforming raw rock into life-sustaining earth. The presence of the glaciers as slow rivers taught the early Alpine communities the ultimate lesson in patience. They were symbols of immense concentrated force that required countless generations to achieve their work. They confirmed that stability and permanence were born from slowness and continuous, unwavering order. Even today, where the glaciers remain, they continue this quiet labor, flowing slowly under the mist plus moonlight. Their immense, unhurried movement is the eternal lullaby of geological change, assuring the sleeping world that the deepest processes of the earth unfold with grace, purpose, and profound stillness. Following the slow, powerful retreat of the ice, the Alpine meadow took its first tentative breath. This transition from cold, sterile rock to vast fields of color and life marks a profound, gentle origin in the life of the mountains. It is a story of solitude and the quiet resilience of life, reclaiming the quiet stone. Imagine the landscape after the last great glacier has melted vast valleys, scooped clean, surrounded by the towering, still peaks. The earth that remains, the fine, pale, ancient dust left by the ice, is raw, cold, and ready. Into this stillness, life began its slow, unhurried ascent. The very first plants to arrive were the pioneers' tiny mosses and hardy lichens clinging gently to the sun-warmed granite, starting the long process of turning rock into soil. They moved with a soft whisper of growth year after year, patiently establishing the foothold for more complex life to follow. Eventually, the high grass arrived. It grew short, dense, and intensely green, designed by nature to withstand the high altitude, the chill of the soft wind, and the quick changes of the mountain weather. These vast, open meadows stretching across the high valleys and basins created a new landscape of serene visuals. The feeling of the high meadow is one of immense solitude and profound quiet. The sounds are simple and far apart, the distant murmur of glacial meltwater, the soft hum of insects, and the gentle sigh of the wind moving across the short grass. There are no sudden jarring noises, only the calm equilibrium of a space vast enough to absorb any sound. The flowers that bloom here are especially vibrant, small, brilliant explosions of color against the pale gray rock and deep green grass. They live in a compressed season, their growth and flowering following the rhythmic consistency of the brief, warm summer sun. They are a quiet testament to the enduring power of life to find beauty and purpose in the most challenging, unhurried environments. The high meadow became a zone of low-drama abundance for the communities that would eventually follow. Its dense, nutritious grasses would feed the herds of sheep and cattle, providing sustenance for the long winter. This resource, born from the slow work of the ice and the patient precision of early plant life, became the foundation of the gentle alpine economy. This meadow is also defined by the drifting light. Because of the high altitude, the light is clear and intense, creating sharp, clean shadows in the morning and vast, long shadows in the late afternoon. This movement of light and shadow reinforces the sense of deep measured time, the geological clock continuing to tick, watched over by the unwavering order of the colossal peaks. The alpine meadow's first breath was an act of quiet, persistent creation. It offered the first soft surfaces and gentle colors to the hard, enduring, quiet stone, preparing the mountains for the simple, organized life that would eventually flow into its valleys, following the rhythm established by the slow, ancient roots of the earth. The deep, enduring quietness of the Alps is largely orchestrated by the constant, gentle journey of water. This vital element, transitioning seamlessly from rigid ice to fluid stream, dictates the slow, unhurried life of the entire region, flowing from snowpack to slow tides. Imagine the high peaks during the long, silent winter. The mountain shoulders are covered in an immense insulating blanket of snowpack. This snow cold and still holds the potential energy of the future river in a state of profound stillness. It is a quiet, vast reservoir that waits with patient precision for the return of the warmer sun. The awakening begins gently in the late spring. The sun's warm breath causes the surface of the snowpack to soften, initiating the melt. This is not a sudden torrent, but a measured, continuous trickle. The melt water seeps slowly into the cracks and fissures of the quiet stone-gathering force as it descends, following the paths of least resistance carved by the ancient glaciers. This meltwater forms the slow river that feeds the valleys. The speed of the water is directly linked to the temperature. Thus, the water's flow is utterly predictable and rhythmic, surging slightly during the warmest midday sun and slowing again to a mere soft whisper during the cold, distant night. This natural, organized rhythm dictates the daily life of the mountain communities who rely on the steady current for their mills and fields. The slow river carries the memory of its journey. As it flows, it picks up the fine, pale silt, the ancient dust from the glacial moraines. This silt gives the water its characteristic milky turquoise hue, a visible sign of the ice's continuous quiet labor high above. The water's color is a serene visual of its geologic history. As the water leaves the high rocky domain, it flows into the lower valleys and lakes. These lakes, often deep and still, are the final transition points where the turbulent meltwater settles into calm equilibrium. Here, the water becomes a vast, peaceful mirror, reflecting the towering, unwavering order of the surrounding peaks under the drifting light of the sky. Eventually, this water continues its descent, joining the great rivers of Europe, which carry its content toward the distant oceans, the true slow tides of the continent. The entire process, from the crystal stillness of the snowpack to the ocean's depth, is a continuous low-drama flow. The gentle journey of water is the pulse of the Alps. It is a constant reminder that the greatest forces in nature, the creation of rivers and the carving of mountains, unfold with unhurried movement and organized consistency. The water assures the mountain communities that the cycle of abundance will continue, provided they adhere to the steady pace dictated by the sun and the melting snow. We now drift softly from the deep time of stone to the formation of human life in the Alps, focusing on the essential architectural element, the Alpine chalet. The design of this home is a beautiful expression of quiet wood and predictable form, perfectly suited to the demands of the slow, unhurried life high in the mountains. Imagine the chalet nestled into a sheltered valley slope, often built upon a foundation of quiet stone, to anchor it against the hillside. The entire structure is a testament to low-drama organization, relying on local materials and a profound respect for the harsh yet predictable mountain environment. The primary building material is wood local pine spruce or larch, chosen for its insulating properties and its ability to age gracefully. The wood is often left untreated, allowing the elements, the soft wind and the sun, to work their subtle transformation, turning the pale surfaces into a weathered soft gray or deep brown. This aging process gives the chalet a deep sense of natural permanence. The most defining feature is the steep roof. This design is not aesthetic. It is entirely practical, a form born of necessity. The roof must be steep enough to efficiently shed the immense weight of the winter snowpack, preventing structural stress. The pitch of the roof is an act of patient precision, ensuring the safety of the occupants through the long, silent winter months. The sound of a large sheet of snow slowly sliding off the roof is a muffled rhythmic whoosh, a reassuring sign that the house is shedding its burden. The roof is often weighted down with heavy stones or large slates, a gentle reinforcement to resist the tremendous upward force of the strong mountain winds. These quiet stones on the roof are a symbol of unwavering order, anchoring the home to the ground. Inside, the atmosphere is defined by warm breath and contained comfort. The rooms are low-ceilinged and paneled with wood, creating a cocoon of organized rest. The soundscape inside is minimal, the faint creak of the ancient timbers settling the low hum of the soft wind outside and the comforting pulse of the hearth. The chalet's orientation is always carefully considered, often facing the warmest direction, the south, to maximize the drifting light and the gentle warmth of the sun. The windows are small and well protected, ensuring that the interior maintains a state of calm equilibrium, insulated from the cold, turbulent air outside. The design of the Alpine chalet is a quiet masterclass in rhythmic consistency. Its form is repeated across the valleys, creating a harmonious and predictable human presence that blends seamlessly with the colossal natural forms of the mountains. The chalet is more than a shelter. It is an architectural commitment to the slow pace and enduring stability of the Alpine way of life, providing a warm, secure center for the mountain communities. The human movement that weaves through the vast, quiet landscape of the Alps began not with planned roads, but with the first footpaths, simple organic lines of travel worn into the earth by the gentle footsteps of animals and the unhurried human traces of early shepherds. Imagine the high meadows and slopes before any structured routes existed. The lines of travel were dictated by the terrain, and they followed the calm equilibrium of the natural contour, curving softly around steep rock faces, seeking the driest ground and connecting the most abundant pastures. These paths were born from rhythmic consistency, the same animals walking the same route day after day, year after year. The earliest and most enduring paths were often sheep trails. Sheep and goats, moving with their innate knowledge of grazing patterns and safety, chose the most efficient low-drama routes. Their small, continuous movements compressed the ancient dust and grass, slowly carving lines that avoided unnecessary elevation or abrupt turns. These animal trails became the essential blueprint for later human movement, demonstrating the natural wisdom of the slow pace. When the first human communities began to settle in the sheltered valleys, they naturally adopted and refined these animal paths. The movement of the herds between the valley villages, the winter shelters, and the high pastures, the summer grazing lands, created the fundamental long-distance routes. This was the beginning of organized movement, though it remained entirely organic and gentle. The gentle human traces added subtlety to these trails. The paths were not paved or hardened. They were simply maintained by use. A traveler walking these routes had to be attentive to the surface, the shifting scree, the patches of soft earth, and the smooth, sun-warmed, quiet stone of a river crossing. This requirement for attention enforced a deep connection between the walker and the landscape, ensuring a measured pace and patient precision. The sound of walking on these early paths was a soft whisper, the gentle shush of leather boots through the meadow grass, or the faint crunch of gravel. There were no harsh, jarring sounds, only the continuous sound of warm breath, and the gentle sound of the soft wind moving through the high pines. These paths were essential for the seasonal movement of transhumans, the predictable slow tides of moving livestock. They were the gentle arteries connecting the various elements of alpine life, the high pastures, the water sources, and the sheltered chalet. The path served as a symbol of continuity and unwavering order, guiding the community through the seasonal changes. The first footpaths of the Alps were a humble, enduring architectural legacy. They teach us that the best routes are often those that emerge naturally from repetition and efficiency, following the Earth's own quiet contours. They transformed the colossal wilderness into a habitable, manageable space, inviting humans to move with the same slow, unhurried rhythm as the mountains themselves. The deep quietness of the alpine landscape is broken by one of its most characteristic and soothing sounds, the sound of the cowbell. This continuous low-pitched chime is far more than a simple locator. It is an acoustic anchor in the mist, a symbol of organized serenity and the gentle rhythm of pastoral life. Imagine the high pasture in the early morning, when the mist plus moonlight is still settling over the vast green space. Visibility is low, and the large, slow-moving herd of cattle could easily wander into the deep stillness of the high rock. The cowbell solves this with simple, elegant technology. The bells themselves are designed for low-drama utility. They are large, hammered bronze or copper vessels shaped to produce a deep, resonant, yet gentle tone. They are attached to the lead animals, and their continuous rhythmic chiming travels far across the open valleys, even when muffled by the soft wind. The sound is predictable, measured, and entirely non-aggressive. The sound of calm equilibrium grazing. For the herdsman, the sound of the cowbell is the constant confirmation of unwavering order. They do not need to see the entire herd. They need only to hear the continuous, overlapping clank, clank, clank to know that the animals are safe, moving slowly across the pasture, following the established grazing pattern. The bells transform the immense silent landscape into a manageable, contained acoustic space. The sound of the cowbell is deeply intertwined with the slow, unhurried life of the Alps. It dictates the pace of the day. The chiming starts softly at dawn, as the animals are released, continues with a steady pace through the midday sun, and slows again in the evening as the animals settle. This sound is an eternal lullaby for the mountain community, marking time and defining the boundaries of their peaceful domain. When the unexpected happens, perhaps a sudden cold mist rolls in, obscuring the drifting light. The cowbell becomes the vital acoustic anchor. The sound guides the herdsman back to the lost animals and reassures the animals themselves, preventing panic and keeping the herd contained in a state of organized stillness. For the people resting in the distant sheltered chalet, the faint continuous chiming carried on the soft wind is the most comforting sound of the distant night. It is a soft whisper that confirms the safety and predictability of the world outside their wooden walls. It speaks of abundance of routine and of the gentle footsteps of life continuing its organized, slow flow. The cowbell is a subtle piece of pastoral engineering, a tool of patient precision that uses sound to conquer distance and fog. It ensures that the vital rhythm of the grazing herd and the heart of the valley's economy remains steady and secure, providing a continuous calming melody to the deep quietness of the high Alps. The quiet existence of the alpine communities is governed by a vast, organized natural schedule known as the rhythm of the transhumans. This is the ancient essential practice of moving livestock seasonally between the sheltered valley floors, and the abundant high meadows defined by a predictable slow ascent and descent. Imagine this movement as a slow tide of living creatures dictated entirely by the meltwater and the growth of grass. It begins in the late spring after the snowpack has receded and the high pastures have taken their first deep green breath. This is the time for the slow ascent. The herdsmen move their animals, cows, goats, and sheep, with meticulous, unhurried movement. The pace is set by the animals themselves, following the first footpaths and the gentlest gradients, ensuring the animals conserve their strength for grazing. The gentle footsteps of the herds and the accompanying herders create a continuous low-frequency sound of migration, a soft symphony of bells and muffled steps against the ancient dust of the trails. The ascent is a quiet ritual of organized efficiency. The animals are moved slowly upward, spending time in intermediary pastures before reaching the highest Alps or summer grazing lands. This careful staging ensures that the pastures are used sustainably, following a rhythmic consistency that has been passed down through generations. The objective is not speed, but patient precision in maximizing the short summer abundance. Once in the high pastures, the community settles into a state of low-drama abundance. The sound of the cowbell becomes the dominant acoustic anchor, confirming the stillness and safety of the herd against the background of the vast, quiet stone. The focus shifts entirely to the gentle care of the animals sustained by the immediate resources of the high grazing land. As the days shorten and the chill of the soft wind increases in early autumn, the process reverses, the slow descent begins. This return to the valley floor is often marked by simple local celebrations, quiet acknowledgments of the successful containment of the summer's risks and the safe return of the community's wealth. The descent is equally unhurried, often guided by the necessity of bringing the animals down before the first unpredictable mist or heavy snow. The movement is a reversal of the tide, bringing the life and energy back into the village chalets, where the hearths are prepared for the long, silent winter. The rhythm of the transhumans is the single most powerful factor shaping the Alpine identity. It dictates the design of the Alpine chalet, the necessity of strong winter shelter, the structure of the community, and the collective commitment to predictability. This movement is a continuous, quiet affirmation of the natural cycle, teaching the inhabitants that survival and prosperity depend entirely on following the unwavering order of the mountains and the seasons. It is a timeless, serene visual, the continuous slow movement of life up and down the colossal slopes, a living reflection of the Earth's own slow tides. The ultimate anchor of the slow, unhurried life within the Alpine chalet was the hearthstone and the central enduring core of the home. This simple structure, often built of local quiet stone, was the source of life comfort and organized stillness, guarded by the constant deep glow of the low embers. Imagine entering the chalet on a cool evening. The space is defined by the heavy timbers of the quiet wood, and the immediate draw is the hearth located at the heart of the structure. The stone hearth was massive and unmoving, a permanent counterpoint to the more flexible wooden frame of the house. It was the architectural symbol of stability, ensuring that even when the soft wind howled outside the center of the home remained secure. The fire within the hearth was rarely allowed to burn high and aggressively. Instead, it was tended down to a bed of low embers, a deep, constant pulse of contained heat. This management of the fire was a daily ritual emphasizing patience and careful resource management. The deep glow provided continuous warmth throughout the long, silent night, without the danger of sparks or the stress of needing constant refueling. The low embers provided the essential warm breath that permeated the entire chalet. This contained heat dried the damp wool of the clothing and kept the interior air comfortable, insulating the inhabitants from the cold, turbulent air of the mountains. The scent of wood smoke, faint and clean, became the comforting, predictable smell of the Alpine home, a soft whisper of domesticity. The area around the hearth was the center of all domestic life and organized rest. It was here that meals were slowly cooked stories were quietly shared, and the day's work was mentally reviewed. The light cast by the embers was dim and reddish, a calming natural illumination that encouraged the eyes to relax and the mind to settle into a state of calm equilibrium. During the long, profound stillness of the winter, the hearthstone was the community's primary connection to external life. Its continuous heat allowed the chalet to remain a sanctuary against the immense silence of the surrounding snowpack. The ritual of banking the fire each evening, carefully covering the low embers with ash to ensure they would remain viable until the morning, was the final act of the day, a quiet, reassuring promise of continuity. The hearthstone and the low embers were a subtle piece of practical philosophy. They taught the mountain dwellers the value of extracting maximum utility from minimum resource and the power of maintaining a steady, rhythmic consistency. The fire was never allowed to rush. It was managed for enduring stability, mirroring the slow, unhurried life of the mountains themselves. This contained warmth, provided the fundamental security that allowed the Alpine community to sleep soundly, anchored by the heat at their core. As the human presence in the Alps deepened, a specific kind of early journey emerged, the high-altitude pursuit of the summits. This was the world of the alpinists, whose movement was defined by a profound, measured pace, relying on the simplicity of rope's axes and intentional movement across the colossal quiet stone. Imagine the early climbing parties setting out before dawn, guided by the pale, cold light of the mist-pulled moonlight. Their goal was not speed or conflict, but patient precision in navigating a vertical world. This required a profound respect for the mountain's slow, unhurried life and its immediate, unyielding geometry. The primary tool for this ascent was the rope. The rope represented a soft connection and a shared commitment to calm equilibrium. Climbers were tied together, ensuring that the movement of one was felt and supported by the movements of the others. The pace of the entire party was dictated by the slowest, most deliberate member, enforcing a rhythmic consistency that was vital for safety and endurance. The gentle friction of the rope sliding over the rock or snow was a continuous, subtle sound, a soft whisper of dependence and unity. The ice axe was the second essential instrument. It was used not as a weapon, but as a tool for stability and gentle purchase on the hard snow and ice. The movement was never aggressive. The axe was placed with intentional movement, a deliberate anchor securing each gentle step before the next was taken. The sound of the axe tapping softly into the ice was a crisp, focusing sound, a punctuation mark in the profound stillness of the high peaks. This style of climbing was a moving meditation. The immense effort required to ascend enforced a deep, even warm breath that settled the body and mind. The vastness of the space, the sense of being suspended between the stable earth and the boundless sky, demanded total focus, leaving no room for the low-drama anxieties of the world below. The measured pace ensured that the ascent was a continuous, manageable flow of energy. The climbers avoided sudden frantic exertion, recognizing that the long duration of the climb required organized efficiency. Every step, every placement of the axe, and every tug on the rope was integrated into a larger, unhurried system. As the sun rose, the drifting light would reveal the spectacular, serene visuals of the high alpine world, the sharp edges of the granite peaks, the vast, white expanse of the remaining glacier, and the distant valley floor, now hidden beneath a soft layer of morning fog. The alpinists' measured pace was a quiet declaration that the most profound goals are achieved not by fighting the mountain, but by submitting to its scale and pace. Their journey was a demonstration of the power of simple tools and organized perseverance, moving slowly and steadily upwards, respecting the mountain's ancient wisdom. The expansion of movement in the high Alps necessitated safe havens, simple, sturdy structures known as refuges or mountain huts. These were built not for luxury, but for essential rest, embodying the quiet work of the refuges and offering simple shelter in the high stone, allowing the measured pace of the travelers to continue across long, challenging routes. Imagine a small, solid hut perched on a ridge or nestled into a rocky saddle. The structure itself is an exercise in low-drama organization. It is often built from the very material surrounding it, thick walls of local quiet stone, sealed with a heavy, reinforced roof designed to resist the immense force of the soft wind and the weight of the snowpack. The hut is an architectural commitment to enduring simplicity. The construction of these refuges was a slow, difficult undertaking carried out with patient precision. Every piece of timber and every heavy slate for the roof had to be carried up the mountain often by the gentle footsteps of porters moving with a continuous, rhythmic consistency. The hut had to be anchored deeply to the stable earth, becoming a permanent, unmoving presence in the vast, fluid landscape. Inside the refuge is defined by warm breath and essential utility. There is a simple central hearth, tended down to low embers, that provides warmth and a place for travelers to dry their damp gear. The sleeping arrangements are usually simple bunks, arranged in an organized rest space. The atmosphere is one of shared quiet relief, where the immense effort of the day dissolves into a deep sense of calm equilibrium. The refuge serves a vital psychological purpose. It acts as an acoustic anchor in the deep silence of the high mountains. When the distant night presses close or a sudden cold mist rolls in the sight of the lantern glow from the refuge window, is a powerful non-threatening signal of safety and predictability. The feeling of reaching the shelter, knowing one is protected from the elements, allows the traveler's breathing and heart rate to slow and settle. The quiet work of the refugees continues through the night. The hut wardens maintain a continuous, soft whisper of service, waking climbers gently in the deep hours, preparing simple meals, and ensuring the fire remains safe. The soundscape is minimal, the faint crackle of the hearth, with the subtle sound of melting snow brought in on boots, and the deep, contented sleep of the travelers. These mountain huts are symbols of organized perseverance. They allow the long, unhurried journeys of the alpinists and the herders to be broken into manageable, safe segments, ensuring that the exploration and utilization of the high mountain environment proceeds with caution and respect. The refuge is the humble, reliable promise of shelter, built with intentional movement to sustain the slow, enduring life of the Alps. Below the highest peaks and the granite refuges where the valleys widen and the climate softens, the slow, unhurried life of the Alps finds expression in the cultivation of the vine. This ancient practice is a beautiful study in sunny patience, demonstrating how human effort aligns with the mountain's gentle slopes and the rhythmic consistency of the sun. Imagine the lower mountain slopes facing the south to capture the maximum drifting light. Here, the vineyards are laid out in intricate, precise terraces, a quiet architecture of stone and earth. These terraces are built on gentle slopes, transforming the challenging gradient into a series of flat, stable platforms for the vines. The retaining walls, built of local quiet stone, are placed with patient precision and immense effort, creating a low-drama organization that manages the runoff of the meltwater. The cultivation of the vine demands a measured pace that stretches across the entire year. The vine is a creature of slow tides, requiring long periods of rest and specific brief moments of intense care. The farmer's work is rhythmic, the gentle pruning in the deep stillness of winter, the quiet observation of the new growth in spring, and the long, unhurried wait for the grapes to ripen under the warm breath of the summer sun. The scent in these vineyards is one of warm earth and sweet leaves, a stark contrast to the cold granite of the high peaks. The soft wind carries the sound of the farmer's gentle footsteps as he moves slowly between the rows, tending the plants. Every action is deliberate and non-aggressive, reflecting the understanding that the best fruit comes from a nurturing, calm equilibrium. This practice of terracing and cultivation is an act of enduring human traces upon the colossal landscape. The terraces are physical evidence of centuries of organized perseverance, showing how communities adapted the mountain's sharp geometry to suit their needs, creating a harmonious blend of rock and agriculture. The complexity of the terraces, often rising hundreds of feet up the hillside, embodies the same unhurried movement as the geological forces that created the Alps themselves. The final product, the wine, captures the essence of the unwavering order and stability of the region. It is a slow, distilled memory of the sun and the unique mineral content of the mountain soil, the ancient dust, and the patience of the farmer. The cultivation of the vine serves as a vital reminder that the Alps are not only a place of granite and ice, but also a space capable of great, sustained abundance, achieved through the commitment to the mountain's own slow pace. It is a serene visual of human life, thriving in an organized, predictable manner, sustained by the sun and the strength of the terraced stone. Moving through the deep valleys, the prevailing soundscape of the Alpine day is often dominated by the sound of the distant waterfall. This continuous, vast acoustic presence, created by the meltwater descending from the heights, acts as a continuous hum, a non-aggressive, steady backdrop that reinforces the serenity of water and the rhythmic consistency of nature. Imagine pausing in a sheltered spot, perhaps near a quiet cluster of alpine chalets. The sound of the waterfall is not a jarring crash, but a deep, resonant rumble carried on the soft wind and diffused by the immense space of the valley. It is a powerful yet gentle reminder of the colossal flow of water working its way down the mountain. This continuous hum is a sonic signature of the Alps' low-drama organization. The water's movement is utterly predictable, dictated by the slow, continuous melt of the snowpack and the gravity of the quiet stone. The sound assures the communities below that the cycle is intact, that the slow river is flowing, and that the power source for their mills and irrigation systems is steady and reliable. The waterfall noise has a calming presence because it is constant. It is a white noise of nature, easily absorbed by the ear, which helps to mask smaller, more disruptive sounds, contributing to the overall sense of profound stillness. The mind, finding a predictable auditory pattern, can easily settle into a state of calm equilibrium. Look up toward the sound. The water is often falling down a sheer cliff face, a long vertical line of movement against the unwavering order of the granite. The spray that rises from the base catches the drifting light, creating brief rainbow fragments, a beautiful fleeting display of nature's gentle persistence. The waterfall also represents the endpoint of the water's early journey down the mountains. It is the final decisive plunge before the water settles into the gentler, measured pace of the valley stream. It is a moment of necessary energy release, performed with natural geometric grace. For the farmer working the gentle slopes of the vineyard, or the herder guiding their slow tides of cattle through the high passes, the distant sound is an acoustic anchor. It is the mountain's constant musical clock, measuring time not in minutes, but in the unhurried movement of the massive flow. The sound of the distant waterfall is a pervasive, eternal lullaby of the high country. It tells the story of the ice's quiet labor, the strength of the rock, and the ceaseless organized flow of life-giving water. Listening to this continuous hum, one is invited to let the mind float gently on the current of the sound, surrendering to the deep, organized peace of the mountain valley. The slow, unhurried life of the Alps is perhaps best embodied by the practice of herding in the high pastures, a summer existence defined by quiet companionship and the constant rhythmic presence of the soft wind. This work is a continuous, gentle collaboration between humans, animals, and the serene, vast landscape. Imagine the herdsman or senner spending the long, sunny months in the Alp, the high grazing land. Their daily routine is governed by the natural rhythm of the animals and the availability of grass. This is an existence of low-drama efficiency, where every action is a practiced, predictable response to the needs of the herd. The work is mostly one of patient observation and guidance, rather than sharp, sudden exertion. The quiet companionship of the animals is central to this life. The herd cows, goats, or sheep moves with a natural slow pace spreading across the vast open meadows. The continuous low chiming of the cowbell serves as an acoustic anchor, assuring the herdsman of the animal's location even when the drifting light of the sun falls behind a cloud or when the mist settles over the high peaks. The herdsman's movements are slow and deliberate, matching the gentle footsteps of the grazing animals. He walks the periphery of the pasture, ensuring the herd stays contained and safe from the rougher edges of the quiet stone of the slopes. His warm breath mingles with the cool, clean mountain air, and his senses are constantly attuned to the subtle signs of the herd's well-being. The soft wind is a continuous, palpable presence. It carries the scent of the high grass and wildflowers, the distant hum of meltwater, and the faint, rhythmic sound of the bells. The wind is rarely harsh during the summer months. It is a gentle force that moves the clouds, refreshes the air, and underscores the vast solitude of the mountains. The herdsman's shelter is typically a small, sturdy hut, built to be an extension of the Alpine chalet philosophy, simple, functional, and anchored by a central hearth of low embers. Here, the only sounds are the quiet flicker of the fire and the deep, contented sleep of the herdsman, resting after his long day of measured pace. The practice of herding embodies unwavering order through its rhythmic consistency. The movement to the high pastures and the eventual descent are dictated by the predictable slow tides of the seasons. The entire process is a quiet declaration that abundance can be achieved through organized effort and profound respect for the limitations and gifts of the natural environment. This life defined by the vast, open serenity of the high meadow is a meditation on enduring simplicity. The herdsman is a guardian of the mountain's gentle cycle, ensuring that the ancient resources are used with care and maintaining a state of calm equilibrium between the wildness of the heights and the needs of the human community below. The slow, unhurried life of the Alps is marked by the distinct turning points of the seasons, none more visually profound than the gentle shift to autumn. This transition is characterized by a gradual change in colors and a noticeable descent of light, signaling the time for the organized return to the sheltered valleys. Imagine the high meadows and forests as the summer's warm breath begins to recede. The intense green of the high grass, sustained by the glacial meltwater, gives way to a spectrum of soft gold, warm russet, and deep crimson. This change is not abrupt. It is a slow, patient transformation, like a vast canvas being subtly repainted over many weeks. The larches, a unique coniferous tree, turn a brilliant soft gold, creating pools of warm light against the enduring dark green of the pines. The intensity of the drifting light also begins to change. The high, sharp clarity of the summer sun softens, becoming lower on the horizon. The shadows lengthen earlier, and the light itself takes on a golden, rich hue, bathing the slopes in a melancholy, serene visual. This subtle descent of light is the mountain's quiet instruction to prepare. This period is dominated by the rhythm of the transhumance in reverse, the slow descent of the herds from the high pastures. This is a continuous low-drama migration. The herdsmen move the animals along the established first footpaths, bringing the living wealth of the valley back to the safety of the Alpine chalet before the cold sets in. The sound of the cowbell is constant during the day, creating a unified acoustic anchor of movement across the landscape. The air becomes crisper, carrying the scent of pine needles and damp earth. The soft wind hints at the approaching chill, and the occasional mist clings low to the valley floor in the mornings. This growing chill is the final essential signal for the human communities to complete their outdoor work. The focus shifts to organized efficiency within the villages. Firewood is stacked with patient precision against the chalet walls, and harvests from the gentle slopes of the vineyards are gathered. The work is steady and unhurried, reflecting the deep trust in the mountain's predictable cycles. Everyone understands that the effort expended now ensures the calm equilibrium and safety through the coming months of stillness. This gentle shift to autumn is the time for reflection. The mountain is settling down for its long sleep, and the human communities are mirroring that process. The immense quiet stone of the peaks remains the unwavering anchor watching over the slow preparation below. The brilliant soft colors of the leaves are a final beautiful offering before the white silence descends. Following the gentle shift to autumn, the Alps reach their most profound state of quietude, winter marked by the arrival of the silent blanket of the snow. This season is not a time of cessation, but a period of profound stillness, where the entire landscape settles into a deep, sustained calm equilibrium. Imagine the mountain world after the first heavy, continuous snowfall. The sounds of the valleys and the sound of the cowbell, the rush of the slow river, are suddenly muted, absorbed by the soft, insulating thickness of the snow. The vast expanse is transformed into a world of muffled, serene visuals defined by the white curves and the dark, sharp outlines of the high peaks. The snowpack itself becomes a major element of the alpine existence. It is heavy, deep, and unmoving, insulating the earth and providing protection for the sleeping plant life beneath. The steep roofs of the Alpine chalet are now burdened by this weight, a silent test of the structure's original patient precision. The houses, anchored by their quiet stone foundations, are reduced to sheltered havens of warm breath and low embers. Movement in this time of stillness is slow and deliberate, matching the slow pace of the environment. The first footpaths are entirely covered, and new routes are established requiring gentle footsteps on skis or snowshoes. The movement itself becomes a deeper meditation, demanding constant awareness of the depth and stability of the snow. The soft wind is often replaced by a colder, more intense air that moves with subtle force. Yet the world feels contained. The light is diffused, and the drifting light of the weak winter sun is blindingly pale, and the distant night is often dominated by the clear, brilliant mist plus moonlight, reflecting off the vast white surface. This bright, cold light emphasizes the sense of solitude and unwavering order in the immense landscape. For the mountain communities, winter is a season of organized rest and internal focus. The rhythm of the transhumance has concluded, and the daily activity shifts indoors. This is the time for quiet work, mending tools, carving wood, and telling the long, slow stories around the hearth. The emphasis is on rhythmic consistency within the sheltered walls, conserving resources and energy for the coming thaw. The profound stillness of winter is a necessary turning point. It is the mountain's long restorative sleep, cleansing the landscape and preparing the ground for the massive flow of meltwater that will define the spring. The cold, still air holds the entire ecosystem in a state of suspension, a colossal quietude that is deeply comforting. The mountains stand as the unwavering anchor, their granite peaks dusted with white, patiently enduring the immense weight of the snow. They remind us that true strength is often expressed not through activity, but through sustained stillness and quiet endurance. Following the profound stillness of winter, the Alps reach a dramatic yet gentle turning point, the spring thaw. This is the season of renewal, marked by the powerful yet unhurried return of water and the quiet, continuous awakening of the earth. Imagine the transition, and the long, cold rain of the silent blanket of the snow is challenged by the increasing warmth of the sun. The snow does not vanish quickly. It melts slowly, releasing its vast, frozen reservoir of potential energy with patient precision. This melting process is the soft whisper that signals the entire ecosystem to resume its active, slow pace. The return of water is the most significant event. The snowpack high on the peaks begins to soften, and the meltwater seeks the ancient paths carved by the glaciers. The trickle becomes a stream, and the stream becomes a slow river, rushing through the valleys with a sound that is a magnificent contrast to the deep quietude of winter. This sound, the continuous hum of running water, is the joyful acoustic affirmation that the cycle has turned. This low-drama flow of water is essential. It cleanses the landscape, washing away the winter's residue and carrying the vital moisture down to the valleys. The rivers swell their slow tides, demonstrating immense controlled power as they rush over the smooth, quiet stone of the riverbeds. This abundance of water signals the start of the farming year and the replenishment of the Alpine lakes. The awakening earth follows the water's lead. The high grass in the meadows, compressed and protected by the snow, begins its rapid, vibrant growth. The soil, enriched by the fine, ancient dust, carried down by the meltwater, quickly becomes ready for cultivation. The farmers and herdsmen, guided by the rhythmic consistency of the melting process, prepare for the slow ascent of the transhumance. The Alpine chalet, which served as a sheltered haven of low embers and warm breath through the winter, now opens its wooden shutters to the drifting light of the longer days. The steep roofs finally shed the last of their snow burden, revealing the dark, weathered, quiet wood beneath, ready for its soft annual maintenance. The entire landscape shifts from the monochromatic white of stillness to a vibrant, serene visual of color and movement. This spring thaw is a period of organized efficiency. The human communities work with a measured pace, driven by the knowledge that the summer of abundance is brief and requires meticulous preparation. This turning point is a powerful reminder that the unwavering order of the Alps is defined by its cycles. The peace of the mountains is not static. It is born from the powerful yet predictable energy of transformation, allowing the forces of nature to unfold with grace and calm equilibrium. The immense scale of the Alps meant that human communities were often separated by colossal barriers of quiet stone. The need for connection, trade, and the exchange of ideas led to the development of the ancient passes, high mountain routes that became trails as long memories, guiding gentle human traces across the peaks. This creation of predictable, organized transit was a key turning point in the human relationship with the mountains. Imagine the early travelers, merchants, pilgrims, and shepherds seeking a route across the vast, unwavering order of the mountain spine. They did not conquer the peaks. They found the subtle, non-aggressive weaknesses, the lowest saddles, the widest valleys, and the most stable scree slopes. These routes, often following the natural slow tides of ancient animal paths, became the ancient passes. The development of these passes was a process of patient precision and shared knowledge. The first footpaths, created by generations of seasonal crossings, slowly solidified into recognized routes. The movement was always a measured pace, dictated by the sheer elevation and the need to conserve warm breath and energy. Rushing was impossible. The journey itself enforced a rhythm of quiet contemplation. The passes are enduring testaments to organized perseverance. They required immense effort not just to find, but to maintain. Early communities worked with simple tools to clear rockfalls, build low, dry stone retaining walls, and mark the route with cairns, small piles of quiet stone that acted as acoustic anchors and visual guides when the mist plus moonlight or soft wind obscured the path. The soundscape of the passes was one of immense solitude. The only sounds were the rhythmic consistency of gentle footsteps, the creak of leather saddles, and the distant muffled hum of meltwater high on the slopes. The passes were often traversed by teams of guides and pack animals moving in an organized line, their collective effort transforming the arduous climb into a low-drama flow of transport. The passes hold deep, collective memories. They were the veins that carried culture goods such as the quiet wood of the valleys and news across the immense distances. Roman legions, medieval pilgrims, and Renaissance merchants all flowed along these same ancient lines, adding new layers of ancient dust and human trace to the enduring trails. The challenge of the passes forced communities to develop systems of organized rest. The refugees and simple rest houses were built at predictable strategic points, a day's slow journey apart, offering shelter, warmth from low embers, and the necessary sense of safety before the next arduous segment of the climb. The passes are a serene visual of human adaptability. They demonstrate that even the most formidable natural barriers can be navigated through unhurried movement and shared knowledge. The echo of the ancient passes is the soft whisper of history, reminding us that connection and communication are enduring human needs that ultimately find a quiet, persistent way across even the highest mountain divide. The existence of the mountain hut or refuge is a quiet testament to the enduring human need for organized orders even in the most remote, unstructured environments. These small, sturdy shelters, often perched high above the clouds, represent a significant turning point in the flow of Alpine life, providing a space of calm equilibrium where the colossal scale of nature meets meticulous human planning. Imagine the interior of a hut late in the day, as the last of the drifting light fades over the peaks. The organization within is one of low-drama efficiency. Every element has a defined essential purpose. The bunks are arranged in predictable rows, the drying racks are placed near the warmth of the central stove, and the communal table provides a space for shared quiet meals. This simplicity ensures that the small space remains manageable and stress-free, regardless of the turbulent weather outside. The quiet work of the refugees is focused entirely on rhythmic consistency. The warden's daily routine is unvarying: the careful tending of the low embers in the wood stove, the heating of water from the glacial melt, and the preparation of simple, nourishing food. The soundscape here is one of contained comfort: the soft crackle of the wood fire, the gentle hum of conversation kept low, and the steady, warm breath of the resting travelers. The hut itself is a fortress of unwavering stability, built with thick walls of local quiet stone to withstand the immense pressures of soft wind and heavy snowpack. Its design teaches the traveler the virtues of patience and intentional movement. Every action within the hut, from putting on boots to preparing a meal, must be slow and mindful, respecting the limited space and the need for communal rest. This internal order above the clouds is vital for the safety of those undertaking measured pace climbs or long-distance crossings. The hut is a pre-calculated checkpoint on the ancient passes, guaranteeing predictable shelter and allowing the travelers to break their arduous journey into manageable, unhurried segments. The knowledge that the hut exists, that a space of organized rest awaits, removes the psychological tension from the journey. At night, the hut becomes an acoustic anchor in the deep silence. The mist, pulse moonlight may entirely obscure the surroundings, but the sense of safety provided by the thick walls is absolute. The hut gathers the scattered, tired energies of the travelers and holds them in a state of organized rest, preparing them for the gentle footsteps of the next day's movement. The organization of the mountain hut is a practical manifestation of the Alps' own wisdom. It demonstrates that life in challenging environments requires an absolute commitment to simplicity and order. By adhering to a rigorous, quiet routine, the small hut successfully pushes back against the chaos of the massive, wild environment, ensuring that the slow, unhurried life of the mountains remains safe and sustainable. The ultimate, long-lasting lesson of the mountains is their resistance to sudden change, demonstrated by the slow erosion of the peak, a continuous, unhurried process that reveals the ultimate patience in granite. Imagine the highest, sharpest peaks towering over the vast valleys. These colossal forms of quiet stone, mostly durable granite and gneiss, are constantly exposed to the forces of nature. Yet their reduction is not violent. It is a meticulous, slow process, measured in geological time, reinforcing the Alps' unhurried life. The primary force of this change is weathering, a combination of water ice and temperature shifts. During the day, the warm breath of the sun heats the rock. During the distant night, the cold causes the rock to contract. Water seeping into the tiny cracks freezes and expands, a powerful yet quiet force that gently pries small fragments away from the main mass. This is the quiet labor of the ice, working subtly over thousands of years. The resulting loose material, or scree, is carried downwards by the pull of gravity, but its descent is often slowed by the friction of the stable earth and the resistance of the low vegetation. The sound of a falling rock is a sudden clack, quickly absorbed by the vastness, leaving the profound stillness to immediately resume. This slow erosion is the mountain's continuous, low-drama shedding. It ensures that the immense peaks, while losing material, maintain their overall calm equilibrium. The constant reduction of height is balanced by the deep underlying geological forces, still pushing the mountain upward, a slow tide of compression that has never truly ceased. The patience in granite is a profound lesson for the human communities below. The mountain teaches that enduring stability is achieved not by resisting change, but by embracing it at a measured pace. The high peaks, though seemingly sharp, are constantly being softened by the elements, demonstrating that even the hardest material yields to the rhythmic consistency of time. The material removed from the peak eventually becomes the ancient dust that enriches the valley soil, feeds the slow river, and provides the stones for the Alpine chalet. Thus, the slow destruction of the peak is an act of gentle creation, ensuring the continuous, organized abundance of the lower world. The highest peaks stand as unwavering anchors, their rough, textured surfaces, telling the story of this perpetual, unhurried process. They are the ultimate serene visuals, reminding us that the vastness of the Alps is defined by time, a time so deep that its passage is heard only in the soft whisper of the wind against the rock and the slow, gentle grind of the freezing water. The slow, unhurried life of the Alps is chronicled not just in its enduring quiet stone and the geological slow tides, but in the delicate, artistic legacy found within the homes, the language of the wood carving stories etched in quiet time on the very fabric of the Alpine chalet. Imagine stepping out of the cold air and into the warm breath of a centuries-old home. Every surface of the quiet wood, the beams, the furniture, the lintels above the doors, carries the subtle tactile presence of human labor and patience. The carvings are not hurried. They are a low-drama art form achieved with patient precision and immense time, often performed during the long, deep, profound stillness of the winter months. This quiet, solitary work transformed the functional material of the home into a repository of organized memory. The carvings often depict simple, enduring motifs, the perennial flowers of the alpine meadow, the gentle, rhythmic curve of the slow river, the enduring form of the mountain goat, or the stylized geometric patterns of the snowpack. These designs are a continuous, soft whisper of the mountain's natural order. The wood itself dictated the pace of the carving. The hard, dense grains of local pine and larch required intentional movement and sharp tools. The process was slow and methodical, the artisan moving the chisel with rhythmic consistency, following the natural flow of the grain. The sound in the workshop was minimal. The soft tap of the mallet against the chisel and the gentle shave of the wood, curling away, a sound of calm equilibrium being created. The language of the wood carving speaks of the inhabitants' deep understanding of their environment. The motifs often celebrate the rhythm of the transhumans, depicting the slow ascent and descent of the herds or the protective symbols necessary to guard the home through the long winter. They are a continuous affirmation of the unwavering order of the seasonal cycle. Look closely at the soft texture of the aged wood. The carving preserves the trace of the human hand, creating a tactile connection to the past. The smooth, worn edges of a carved lintel, polished by the gentle footsteps of generations passing beneath it, tell a story of longevity and sustained domestic peace. The carvings also served as a subtle form of social cohesion, communicating family history, regional identity, and quiet blessings across the passing years. They are the visible, yet silent heritage of the mountain communities, reflecting a life lived by the geological clock. This legacy of detailed wood carving transforms the simple chalet into a living document. It shows that even in an environment dominated by colossal granite peaks, human life can find its expression in enduring simplicity and gentle artistry. The stories etched with patience into the quiet wood remain a continuous, serene visual, for the mind inviting rest through the contemplation of slow, deliberate creation. The most encompassing and enduring legacy of the Alps is the deep silence of the star-filled night. High above the clustered chalets and the slow river valleys, the mountain reaches a state of cosmic calm, where the vast scale of the universe is made palpable against the unwavering order of the granite peaks. Imagine the distant night in the high mountains. The air is cold, clean, and perfectly still, allowing sound to dissipate rapidly. This vast quietude is the ultimate expression of the Alps' unhurried life. The human ear, free from the constant low-level noise of the modern world, attunes itself to the simple, profound sounds, the faint, soft shush of the soft wind moving over the snowpack, the almost imperceptible creak of the quiet wood of a lonely refuge, and the deep, contented, warm breath of the resting animals. Look up at the sky. Because of the high altitude and the lack of artificial lantern glow, the darkness is absolute, allowing the stars to shine with an unparalleled, brilliant clarity. The celestial sphere appears vast and close, filling the space between the peaks. The mist plus moonlight, when present, bathes the quiet stone in a pale, ethereal light. But when the moon is absent, the Milky Way stretches overhead, like a visible river of drifting light. This serene visual of the vast, ordered cosmos is the final powerful anchor for the human mind. The unwavering order of the star patterns, the knowledge that those lights have followed the same rhythmic consistency for billions of years, imparts a profound sense of stability and calm equilibrium. The mountain, with its ancient geological foundation and its patient precision, feels like the Earth's natural viewing platform for this eternal display. The deep silence is the mountain's greatest gift. It enforces low-drama contemplation, pushing the mind away from small anxieties and toward the colossal, unhurried scale of the universe. The silence is not empty. It is full of the soft echoes of the mountain's own story, the quiet labor of the ice, the slow erosion of the peak, and the gentle footsteps of generations of herders. For the mountain communities, the star-filled night is a continuous, silent affirmation of the geological clock. It reminds them that their life, though defined by the seasons, is ultimately governed by a larger, stable design. The immense, unmoving presence of the high peaks standing as dark, geometric anchors against the blazing light of the cosmos reinforces this truth. The deep silence of the star-filled night is the final, eternal lullaby of the Alps. It invites the mind to float gently on the vast, quiet current of the cosmos, surrendering to the realization that all is well, all is ordered, and all is contained within the immense, silent system of the universe. The quiet life of the Alps leaves behind a palpable, active legacy, the enduring flow of the Meltwater River. This continuous, self-renewing source of water represents the mountain's gift of purity and its most vital contribution to the wider world, driven by the rhythmic consistency of nature. Imagine following the trajectory of the water. It begins as crystalline snowpack high on the peaks, the water held in a state of profound stillness and pristine cold. As it yields to the warm breath of the sun, it begins its descent, gathering speed and substance, but maintaining its essential clarity. The slow river that courses through the valleys is in essence filtered through the immense natural material of the mountain, the quiet stone, and the glacial moraines. This meltwater river is the lifeblood of the communities nestled within the valleys. It powers the simple mills, irrigates the gentle slopes of the terraced fields, and provides the pure source for all domestic needs. Its low-drama flow is utterly predictable. The inhabitants know its tempo surging during the midday sun when the melt is strongest and slowing to a soft whisper during the cold, distant night. This predictability allows for organized abundance and the calm equilibrium of valley life. The legacy of purity is particularly profound. The very nature of the alpine environment, its height, its cold, and its isolation acts as a massive, natural filtering system. The water collected high above the disturbances of human activity carries the subtle mineral content of the ancient dust and the granite, but remains fundamentally untainted. It is a continuous, self-cleaning resource, providing a continuous, serene visual of renewal. The river itself is a continuous, moving reminder of the unhurried life. Even in its rush, its movement is defined by the larger slow tides of the seasons. It teaches the valley dwellers the patience required to work with nature's schedule, ensuring that their usage aligns with the unwavering order of the melt. The enduring flow of this water extends far beyond the mountain valleys. It feeds the great European rivers, the Rhine, the Rhone, the Po, carrying the soft echoes of the Alps outward to the plains and cities below. The Alps, in this sense, act as a massive, unmoving presence that regulates the hydration and life support systems for a vast continent. The sound of the meltwater river, the continuous steady hum that rises from the valley floor, is the final audible affirmation of the mountain's enduring vitality. It is a sound of organized perseverance, proving that the strength of the mountains lies not just in their height, but in their ability to continuously transform the ephemeral snowpack into a stable, life-giving current. The river flows on an eternal lullaby of water and stone. We arrive now at the gentlest conclusion of our journey, focusing on the ultimate legacy of the Alps, the mountain, as a soft anchor. The colossal, enduring presence of the peaks provides a final constant reference point, inviting rest and reflection in the heart of the unhurried life. Imagine the final scene, the entire vast range of peaks, valleys, and forests settled into the deep, continuous quiet of the distant night. The entire landscape is a testament to patience in granite, confirming that the most immense structures are the most stable. The mountain is an unwavering anchor for the human mind, grounding the spirit in its profound calm equilibrium. The Alps' greatest gift to the human experience is the imposition of measured time. They teach us that the best actions, whether the quiet labor of the ice, the slow erosion of the peak, or the rhythm of the transhumance, are those performed with rhythmic consistency and profound slowness. The mountain simply does not allow for haste. Its sheer scale enforces a gentle pace on all who live within its shadow. This low-drama permanence is the source of its peace. The mountain has survived the slow tides of geological transformation, the pressure of continents, and the wear of ice and water. Yet it remains a massive, unmoving presence that assures the observer of enduring structure. The soft wind moving across the high rock and the hum of the meltwater below are the only sounds that affirm the continuity of this quiet stability. The mountain provides a sanctuary of organized stillness. The Alpine chalet, built of quiet wood and quiet stone, is a sheltered haven where the warm breath of the hearth provides a human center within the vast solitude of the peaks. The enduring flow of the meltwater river guarantees life and abundance, completing the cycle of security and rest. As you close your eyes, now let the image of the mountain sink into your mind. See the vast, clear darkness of the star-filled night above the colossal peaks and feel the sense of order provided by that cosmic calm. The mountain does not demand anything from you. It simply offers its massive, stable structure as a final point of reference. The mountain, as a soft anchor, is the final comforting truth. It is a reminder that you are held by something vast, ancient, and entirely stable. There is no need for worry, no need for speed, only the need to surrender to the slow, unhurried life that unfolds with serene, visual grace and continuous peace. Let the final soft whisper of the mountain solitude carry you into sleep. In this quiet journey tonight, we drifted through the gentle echoes of the slow, unhurried life of the Alps, from their ancient geological folding to the soft traces they leave behind as a lesson in lasting stability. Allow the thoughts of the slow, steady ascent, the warmth of the hearthstone, and the vast, still silence of the high passes to settle gently in your mind. There is no turbulence in the mountain. There is only the slow, continuous flow of geological time. Feel the stability of the vast stone beneath your imagination, anchoring you in quiet rest. If this peaceful journey brought you ease, you may leave a soft like or whisper in the comments where you'd like to drift next. And now, let the night grow still. Let your breath slow. May sleep come softly and carry you into peaceful rest. Good night.